Propnight is an asymmetrical game where you have one killer versus 4 survivors. The killer's job is to, well, you may have guessed it, kill the survivors. Whereas the survivors have 2 jobs: repair the prop machines around the map, which allows them to then unlock the doors and escape, as well as not getting killed. This might sound easy and simple, and many might compare this to Dead by Daylight, even though Dead by Daylight was not even close to being the first asymmetrical game with a horror twist. Thrown into this mix, as many Gmod chads might remember, you also have the prop hunt element, as survivors can transform into various props found throughout the level to try and blend in with their surroundings, which if done successfully keeps their insides from becoming outsides. To break the game down even further, let's start with the survivors. You pick from one of 5 characters, and each of these start with a different item at the beginning of a round. Isaac starts with a camera. The flash on the camera will stun the killer for a short time, which is a get out of jail free card if they happen to notice you. Tiger starts with some medkits, so if you get hit or knocked down, you can heal yourself and others back up a little bit if you find a safe area. Chris starts with an energy drink, which can be drunk to gain a short duration of a speed boost to help get away from a killer. Mabel gets an ancient book. It allows you to momentarily become invisible and move quicker. Though I will say it's not true invisibility, as you still can sort of see them as the killer, but not clearly. Kate gets the same amount of med packs as Tiger. Unsure if this will remain in the release version, but if it does, you have 2 fairly supporting characters in the group, which could be good for team play. As mentioned before, all characters can turn into props. You left click on a prop to transform into it, and right click to turn back to human form. Moving on to the prop machines themselves now, they look like this. You hold F to repair them. But at various points you will be given a skill check mechanic where you need to press the space bar at the right time. You will gain a small bonus to your repair for doing it during the first part of the bar, or if you get it near the end in the white section, you gain quite a large chunk to the repair. If you fail the skill check, however, the machine will overload and give off a loud bang noise which the killer will most likely hear, so you need to choose if it's time to hide as a prop or run away to another machine. If you repair 5 machines, you unlock the means of escape. In beta, it was 2 doors that you needed to unlock, which also takes some time. Once the door is unlocked, you can leave this nightmare and survive. However, once the doors are available, the killer will most likely be checking the doors to make sure that nobody escapes. Before moving on, I want to talk about Propcoins for a second also. Propcoins are a feature in this game where for doing tasks or finding them within the level, you gain Propcoins. As mentioned, you can find them, you can repair machines and gain coins, or even bonk a killer on the head and gain coins too. With 1000 prop coins, you can then buy an item from the chests on the map. They can be one of any of the starter items for the survivors, or you can even gain a key. The key item is pretty useful as it allows you to unlock the escape doors faster. However, these items will also range in rarity, allowing you either greater quantity of the item for things like medkits, or for things like energy drinks and cameras for example, legendary quality allows you to use them multiple times on a cooldown, which is amazing for something like the camera, as you can stun the killer once every 2 minutes. Moving on now to the killer side of the game, there were 3 killers in the beta, but we know more are coming as were teased by the devs previously. But those in the beta and their abilities were Banshee. Her Q ability curses a prop machine, making it harder for the survivors to repair. Her E ability is a scream that damages all nearby survivors and will highlight them even in prop form. Right click allows her to fly in any direction. And Hunt, which all killers have, which means they gradually get faster during a chase. Now moving on to Granny. Her Q is basically a floating knife. If anyone walks near, even in prop form, the knife will fly towards them and deal damage. Her E makes her invisible and fast, though the knife she carries will still be visible. Right click is a thrown knife to allow for ranged attacks. And Hunt, as I said before, slowly move faster during a chase. And finally, looking at the Imposter. His Q overloads all unrepaired prop machines and detects those that are repairing them. His E changes his appearance to look like one of the survivors. His right click allows him to also turn into a prop. And finally Hunt again. Slowly move faster during a chase. A killer's whole job is to try and play as many mind games as possible while disrupting the repairs of the survivors. If they down a survivor, they plonk them down on a Hypnochair and the survivor then needs to be rescued before the timer hits 0 or they die. If they are rescued and get downed again and get put in the chair, they have less time to be rescued until the third time they are placed in the chair when they just die instantly. A picked up survivor can try to wiggle free, but it's very rare that you will have time to do it. In my 10 or so hours I've only been able to wiggle free about 4 times I think, and it was only due to the chair disappearing from someone else dying, so the killer had to walk further to put me in a chair. So, what are my first impressions of Propnight? To be honest, it surprised me. I've never really been interested in games like Dead by Daylight, but this is a pretty funny game as it makes the surviving aspect much more attractive due to adding in the prop hunt element. The amount of fun I had just turning into props and hiding from a killer who is completely oblivious and walks past me, or even sees me move around them but doesn't notice me, was great. It was even more funny when they do notice you and you pull off some nice bonks on them and a fart noise as you bounce away as a bottle or a piece of corn. It was very satisfying. The killers are a threat and will mess you up if you don't pay attention, but the stun feature makes it so you can at least try to get away and hide as a prop, which I think is a really good feature for a game like this. When I first played the game, I thought maybe it was a little too killer-sided, but since playing it much more, I have changed my opinion on it, and I'd say it's fairly even in its current state. My reasoning for that is because if you play smart and don't blow your cover, after a while you can easily blend in and work together to play your own mind games on the killer. You can also gang up and bully the killer with props to turn the tables with some pro prop skills. Again, another amazing thing to witness that made me laugh. But with a game like this, it's a very fine line to tread, so even if they remove one single Hypnochair from farm for example, it would be a huge impact to the killer and the balance of the map overall. So I can see why going forward, they will probably be very cautious about any nerfs or buffs to either side. Honestly though, I think we can all unanimously agree that the bonk mechanics are top notch. I had regular bonks and what I would consider to be mega bonks from time to time, which is just a big middle finger to the killer and hilarious to think that an undead banshee nun just got knocked out by a piece of corn or a bottle. But I am really looking forward to November the 30th, which is when the game releases, and having some more fun with it. I did tweet at one of the co-founders of the developer and asked, do you guys happen to have a rough idea of how many maps, survivors, killers you want in for release? Which they kindly responded with 555, which means we're getting 5 of each unless they're just messing with me. I did say in response to that, 1 more of each and you could launch with 666 for maximum spookage. So if they do launch with 6 of each, you can thank me later. We don't know how much this will cost other than what they have said on Discord of it being a reasonable price, which I would guess based on what content it will launch with being around $10 to $15 if I were to guess, but only $10 to $15 because they said there will be paid for skins etc in the future. Maybe with a slight discount at launch if they want to secure sales and a player base to build from. Hopefully it launches well as I really had some fun with this game and will definitely be wanting to give it a go on launch. With that said, let me know what your thought of Propnight was if you tried it out, or your thoughts based on my video. If you want to join my Discord or follow me on Twitch, my links as always will be in the description and the pinned comment. But with that, I will see you for the next video.